Welcome, guys, gals, gays, and theys, back to the podcast, the Hangout Quest podcast. Gary's here again.
Hi, it's me. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. We're still there. We're still here for another week or so. Another week of happiness.
It's almost flown all the way by.
I'm trying to decide how much money I'm willing to spend on merch for this sort of thing. I don't think it can be that much. But anyway, our topics today, I want to jump right in to tropes. That's what I want to talk about first. I heard it on some podcast talking like what.
Can you hold on?
Tropes.
Can you cite your inspiration? Do you know what podcast you heard it on?
Well, I think it was on the XP to Level 3 podcast, the Arcane Lounge, I believe. So
shout out to that.
Yeah, that they're like XP to Level 3 is like it's like a D&D podcast, or it's a D&D YouTube channel who has a second channel where they do the actual like D&D games and also a podcast. And it's just the dude and like his wife and then sometimes their friends. And they answer like questions from the chat, which we could do at some point if we got questions from the chat. but
if we had a chat, yeah.
But we don't have that just yet. But I think that one of their questions at some point recently was what are some of your favorite tropes in like media? So I want to expound that into it doesn't have to be D&D and movies and stuff. It can be anything. I want it to be like it can be anime, it can be books, it can be video games, it can be whatever. All these tropes that are available to us these days.
Yeah. Okay. I think, and we've discussed this before, my favorite trope always and forever is there's a big, tough, stoic character and there's a small, cute, sweet character and they're best friends.
Right. We have
examples. Yeah. Examples would be Momiji and the ox guy whose name escapes me in Fruits Baskets. Hatsuharu. Yeah. Yep. Thank you. Haru. And there's a pair that is this trope in Ouran High School Host Club, but I haven't rewatched that recently enough to know their names. Sorry, guys. And like just kind of also everywhere in media, but it is my favorite. There's also bonus points for the reverse of that, where the big one is actually the sweetheart and the small one is actually sort of unhinged. That's good too. I like that too.
We love, yeah. I like that. I like the unhinged small characters. They're fun. It's kind of not that, but the first version of this in the My Love Story, Rinko and
yes,
the guy.
Yes, Goda.
Yeah.
It is quite possibly why I like that anime so much. Is it's the big one and the little one and they're best friends / actually those two are in love. But it's just I like the big small dynamic. I don't know why. It just always gets me.
Which is wonderful. I love that. I love that for you. And
yes. That's a more recent example.
Yeah.
Sorry. No. Is Encore and Alto in Wuwa, which is one of the only things I actually really know about Wuwa, and the only place where I'm really invested in Wuwa is those two, and in Camellia, because have you seen her? I don't.
She's friends with those two too. Like we love Camellia around here, and yeah, dude, I love Encore and Alto as well. They're the only things you know about Wuwa, and they're the only things you really need to know about Wuwa. So that's fine. We love We love Encore and Alto.
Yeah, that I know that, and I know what are the names of the little monsters that I just love? There's
whiff,
like
waff,
a snip snap
tic-tac,
and a whiff waff.
Snip snap. Yep, there are several wonderful names. The tambourinist,
Those are great.
the wheel, the flute, the flautist. We love these guys.
Yeah,
I kind of like that theme. The like sound theme is great. I know whiff waff, and I guess whiff waff is a sound. Huh? I don't know.
Yeah, they're onomatopoeias. Yeah. Whiff waff, snip snap.
Snip snap. There's a zip zap.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, dude. That's great.
It makes me happy. I guess that's another. I don't know if that counts as a trope, but
honestly, I don't know. I don't think I've come across very many other like worlds where everything is music themed. I mean, I'm sure that there's an anime out there somewhere, but that's not.
I'm sure there's like 18.
Yeah.
If you can think it, there's already at least 5 anime about it.
Right. Which is, it's one of those things like tropes, I think, get a bad rap. Everyone, not everyone, but I mean, one of the things that will happen if you've got like, I don't know, a young kid from a small town who, whose mentor, old wizard character comes in and meets him in a tavern and tells him, your family's going to die and then you have to go beat the Dark Lord, like with a magic sword. You're the chosen one, by the way. We assume that's a terrible like thing, but it's really not. Like a lot of stories can be really fun that way. I love Aragorn for like I don't know. It's not bad whenever things are like super tropey. It just kind of depends on how you use them, I guess.
Yeah, I think a starting place trope is fine and can be very fun. I just think it's what you do with the character after that. Because none of us like, a really straightforward, you're the chosen one, go through the classic hero's journey in the right order and, check off all the tropes on the way. But we do like, you're the chosen one, go through the hero's journey pretty much in all the right order, but maybe check off some tropes we didn't expect. Maybe be someone we weren't thinking would do this.
Yeah, I think that there's just a good balance, I think that that's just where it is. We want a good amount of familiar stuff that we like, and then some new stuff. I want an old wizard character. That's great. We love those guys. But it's like, I'm thinking one of the things I wanted to bring up was the these like chosen one things. One of the things I really like about George R. R. Martin's stuff is like Jon Snow is super boring, but I like the potential that it's like he's this chosen one, he's the secret son of the king, and it's like
but
it's
he knows nothing.
That he knows nothing, and I believe that it's going to be revealed. Obviously the books aren't done, but I've seen a lot of like other stuff he's done, and I can almost guarantee you that like what's going to happen in that story is it's going to be revealed that he is the secret son of the king or whatever. And that's only going to make things worse. Like, it's not going to be like, oh, thank God the prince has come. Like, it's going to be, Jesus Christ. Like, there's another one.
Another one.
This is a problem. It's a real problem that, like, I bet that he finds out or he or someone else finds out his parentage, and they try to keep it secret because they don't want that to happen. Like, they don't want it to get out because it's not good. Like, anyway, I like that. I like it whenever tropes are used like in a more subversive way, I guess, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Or I don't really have a problem with a lot of the like major tropes. Dude, I like magic swords. Like that's cool. I like Valyrian steel. I like. I forget what it's called in Aragorn. Now I've got Aragorn on the mind.
The unobtainium item.
Yeah, that stuff is great, dude. I like magic swords. It's fun.
I think there are a few tropes that I don't like. Definitely. Born Sexy Yesterday is my least favorite trope of all time. So this would, if for anyone unfamiliar, this would be a character who is an alien or a clone or some reason. Sometimes Amnesia does this too. There's some reason that this person, it's usually a sexy woman, usually she's like naked, that there's some reason why she knows nothing and has to be taught by the always romantic interest, usually the male protagonist, like literally everything. And then they, like have sex and it's a romance and it's gross and weird to me. It's a less popular trope these days than it used to be, but it used to be like all over the place. Lots of very famous, well-known like action movies and stuff would do this.
Have you seen, or it's funny you say it's less popular these days. I'm pretty sure Poor Things like won a lot of awards last year. Have you heard of Poor Things?
No. Okay. Also, confession. Camry doesn't watch movies.
Oh yeah, so. I forgot you don't watch movies. I don't know what I was thinking. Of course, you haven't seen Poor Things.
I'm not a movie enjoyer. Yeah, hate me in the comments for that. I say something every episode that somebody's gonna come at me for, but I don't really like movies.
It's fine. I am a huge movie guy, and we're friends, so it could be. I think we can coexist here. It's okay. We'll be good. I just think it's funny that you say that because there's a really popular, really controversial movie that came out last year, and I don't know. Everyone's arguing about it because the main story definitely is like Actually, I can't even summarize the plot to you. I haven't seen it myself, but I know it's a big talking point because for some reason there's like a Born Sexy Yesterday character, but it's supposed to be pretty pretty topical, I guess, like pretty there's a lot of people who get behind it for being good and a lot of people that are behind it for being bad in that way, and I know it's a lot more explicit than I don't know, some of the ones you're thinking of, I guess, that are, I don't know, more family friendly versions of this thing. I know Poor Things is not, and I think it's supposed to be more of a commentary on, I don't know, on real things, real issues. But I don't know that. I just know it's really controversial because some people really don't like it. Anyway, but it won lots of awards last year, and it's just funny. But
okay. So maybe it's not less popular, but it is more controversial. I feel like I think the film that brought the trope sort of, or that is used as the example of the trope, is The Fifth Element. I hope I'm right about that. I've never seen it.
I don't know. I also have not seen Fifth Element. That's funny. I don't know. I think of 50 First Dates.
50 First Dates is a great example. And that's an amnesia-related one. However, in 50 First Dates, actually 50 First Dates is closer to like a Groundhog's Day time loop movie or time travel movie. Because he doesn't have to teach her like what soap is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess I'm having trouble coming up with an example. I know the top. I feel like I know the trope you're talking about. I'm just thinking. I'm trying to think of examples, but.
What's the movie? Minority Report.
Well,
is one that I've seen.
That's a Tom Cruise one. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. My dad. We watched that one often. My dad really liked it, but that has a Born Sexy Yesterday character for sure. The bald woman who lived her whole life in the swimming pool or whatever.
Yeah. In the crime tank. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a least favorite.
Yes.
Do
you have a least favorite? I kind of jumped on this by you saying you're not sure that you have any that you don't like, but
that's yeah. I did say that. Of course, there's plenty that I don't like. I guess one of the things I wanted to talk about is gonna be like technologies from a different genre showing up in one they're not supposed to. So like one of my favorite things is it magic or is it technology, like type of stuff. And this happens a lot more in books than movies, I guess. But I like I like it whenever there's like a computer doing magical stuff, I guess. I guess AI is kind of an example of this because there's no such thing yet, I guess. But levitation, telekinesis, stuff like that are like they're magic, but in a sci-fi show they're just called technology, And I like that. I like the like kind of cross between that sort of thing. And I guess I'm not talking like the Force, because obviously that's magic. I'm saying like technology that does the stuff, like
right, like you have a future.
I'm sorry,
watch. I'm thinking like Star Trek. Like you have the holograph room that makes the whole scenarios happen, or you have a watch that can teleport you or whatever. That in a fantasy land, that would be a magic item, but in Star Trek, that's just a piece of technology.
Right, exactly. It's just a narrative trope. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm more of a like Black Mirror kind of guy. I'm not a Star Trek guy. I'm a Black Mirror guy. But it's the same thing. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. You go into a situation where it's just like, really, it's just the clothes. It's just the clothes that look different, and it's like, instead of, like you said, the magic items are just computers instead of enchanted, swords and rings. It's this little device they hook you up to or something.
Yeah, definitely. I like sort of the reverse of that, where in like a fantasy story they're trying to give you a solve for like a telephone, so they'll like enchant 2 rocks so you could talk to each other. You know what I mean?
I see. Yeah, that's great, dude. The talking stones. That is funny. Sending an email.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just like you send it on a bird or something.
Right, dude.
Through a mirror, Yeah.
Yeah. I used to like messenger pigeons. I feel like Game of Thrones, the TV show, kind of ruined that for me. but that's it's funny whenever it takes a long, like either a really long time for something like a bird to fly across the country, or it happens like instantaneously, like an email. Both of those things are quite funny.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I really like there's a a series called Maniac on Netflix, and it's like I really like the aesthetic there. It's a retro futuristic, so it's like all these it's like, I don't know, 70s computer technology. So like the computers are like the size of a room, and they have hoses and it's stuff like that. Like it's crazy, like old-timey computer stuff. But it's like the year 2050 or something, and like they're supercomputers that do like magical supercomputer things. And I absolutely loved the aesthetic there, because it's all the modern stuff, like neon lights and stuff like that I love. Bisexual lighting left and right, this is great. But it's like that's all over the place, but it is magical, magical MacGuffin-y stuff happening in the story, and it's great. I love that series so much. Highly recommend.
I love retrofuturism. I think what we thought the future would be like in the 60s is the best possible version of the future, and I'm sad about the future we actually live in comparison.
Yeah, I like that. I think my actual like favorite trope though. The thing that I really like whenever any version of this gets explored is AI and AI like sentience specifically. I like Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies. And then like I said, any story that comes up with a way to talk about this, I just really enjoy it. And what I'm talking about, I guess, specifically is like, when does like a computer thing get smart enough to the point where like we're like obligated to care about like, you know, like care about it, you know, like what it's thinking or feeling or whatever. I really like the like, where does life begin technologically wise, like question. And you know, all the questions that surround that sort of thing, because there's like a million different like you know, moral like problems there, I guess. So
yeah,
I really enjoy that.
I mean, I think that as a concept is really fun. I'm really on the conservative side of that. I don't like being mean to like my Siri, you know?
Yeah, and that's one of the things that that interests me the most, dude. It's just like, what kind of psycho? I'm right there with you. What kind of psychopath could be mean to something that sounds like a human? You know, like, even if you know that, like, you know, on the inside it's not, you know, it's not thinking. You know, there's like these. I think it's getting more and more true. There's like I don't know if you've seen any of the most recent like AI. I'm losing the word, but like that they show off like what AI can do nowadays.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like
I've seen some. I haven't seen like the most recent, but
sure, yeah. But there's some there that I've seen recently that it's just like you can tell it's not a person, but like it's getting to the point where like if you pick up the phone to like order a pizza or something and you're not expecting to be talking to an AI, you may not realize you just spoke to an AI, you know, like, you know, and it's like, they sound just like people, you know, it sounds basically like a voice actor or whatever. Now that we have these AI generated, you know, voices and stuff.
Yeah. The AI voices are scary at this point. And as like a hobbyist, voice actor, I don't like it.
Oh yeah, dude. Voice acting is almost certainly doomed. I definitely think that voice acting is more on the chopping block than like drawing art. But they're both on their way out, though.
I do definitely think so. Well, and specifically the voice acting I do, which is reading audiobooks, there's no way that that's not the first axe to fall.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's gotta happen. Like you said, for audiobooks, I think you're right that's probably more so in danger than like an anime or something. Anime, video games, things that need like a lot of different voice actors, because I think that there's a lot of value in like having different voices. You know, like you could. I don't really, you know, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of different things they can do with the technology, but I think what's probably going to end up happening.
Yeah, I think it'll come later, but audio narration of nonfiction books, which is my bag, it's like already in danger. There's already a lot of AI voiced nonfiction audiobooks out there, and they keep getting better to the point that some of them are better than I am, which sucks.
Yeah. The business side of that thing is pretty interesting. Like I like the idea of companies being able to, there's a huge problem here, obviously, but like I like the idea of someone, I want voice actors to be paid for their work, obviously, you know, like I'm not for the for all this like internet scraping. This is more of a problem with, well, I mean, I guess it's a problem for everyone, because there's like YouTubers or whatever that have hundreds and hundreds of hours of them like just talking on the internet. So like it's easy for people to make AI, you know, versions of their voice without their consent at all. which really sucks. But I like the idea of a company paying someone a lot of money and maybe even royalties every time they use it, like for the right to use their voice, like the right for them to come into the studio, do voice acting for them, and then in the future then be able to use like their works to make them like make their voice for like, you know, a future character or something. But it's like they're paying them the whole time. I like the technology. I don't really like how
that is not how it's being used.
But I feel like that will be how it gets used a lot in the future, at least by some companies. I think that, you know, obviously there's always going to be bad acting companies, but I think that just like there's always going to be bad acting companies, I think there's always going to be really good acting companies, because there are people out there that want the ethically sourced oranges. You know, like that's my argument, is like the, you know, the ethically sourced grocery stores are a thing. You know, like there are hipsters out there that love that stuff, and you know, I make it sound like they don't actually care. There are a lot of people out there that do care and want to, like, they want to support companies that like do the right sort of stuff. And if you advertise that you pay your voice actors really well, people are going to like your company more. So it's like, I think that there's going to at least be a spot for them.
I agree with that. However, my larger concern is that that's going to shrink the pool of voices that are used, because when companies can pay a lot of money to get someone to give the rights to their voice, there's going to become like, I don't know, 100 famous voices. And those are the ones that people are going to pay to use most often, right? It's the same thing that like acting in commercials used to be a really good way for new actors to get insurance and to get stuff for their reels and to get some exposure. And now celebrities are doing a lot of the commercials. Like already really famous people are taking those jobs and getting paid way more to do those jobs. And so I think where voice acting right now kind of is a place where a lot of people can make it, because you need a lot of different voices. I think having like an AI library of voices that you can use is going to shrink the opportunity by a lot. Maybe.
It's interesting you say that, because I already like feel that way about voice acting stuff. I mean, you know, I like it. I like that, like anytime we watch an anime, I'm like, hey, Camry, look up this voice actor. What all have they been in? Oh, and you go and you find them and you're like, okay, Alex, they were all these characters from this game, you know, this other anime we watch, this other anime we watch, you know, like the same voice actors are in everything. And it's like, you know, Kakegurui has like 15 fucking Genshin Impact characters in it, you know, and it's like you know, and I see what you're saying.
Sure.
but
like the voice of Robin in Star Rail has only been in 3 things before now. And I think like that's the opportunity cost we're losing.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't really.
There's always going to be people who get famous and who are working. Like Sino's voice actor never stops working. Mm-hmm. But he's great, and we all love him, and we want him to be working.
I want him to be in everything, you know. Yeah, it's not like I said, I get behind it. You know, I really like that there are voice actors that I can like recognize and, you know, end up seeing them in lots of different things. You know, if the same voice actor is in 2 of my favorite things, then all of a sudden, you know, I start really liking the voice actor too. You know, it's like it's great. Mm-hmm. Venti and Yumiko Jabami, dude. Like, I love that they're the same characters. It's great.
Yeah, Yumiko really did a lot for you towards liking Venti. I know you already really liked Venti, but it was like over when you learned that.
That was the turning point, absolutely. Like I did like Venti, then I loved Yumiko, and then I found out that they were the same person, and Venti definitely benefited from that.
Did you come up with a trope that you disliked, or dude. Do you just see potential in all tropes?
I think that a lot of tropes are just really hit and miss for me, you know? Like I really It just kind of depends, dude.
I feel like you have stated in the past in conversations that you really hate amnesia.
I have stated that. Yeah, I must be off. I'm off my game this morning, dude. Because I do hate amnesia a lot. I don't like amnesia. I think it's used incorrectly all the time. I don't mind, and that's one of the things that make me say that like all tropes are kind of hit or miss is because like obviously there are stories I like with amnesia in them, you know. I think like Jason Bourne was fun, you know, like that's a fun movie or whatever, but he's super got amnesia and stuff.
Yeah, well, I think you can dislike the trope and still find stories that overcome your dislike of the trope. But if you know it's an amnesia story, it starts at -5. I think that counts as not liking really the trope. You know, it has to work a lot harder.
Is like yeah, absolutely. Another that it's funny that I am not a giant Jason Bourne fan, but another like I don't know if it's a trope or like a thing that I just don't like is redemption arcs where someone has like hurt someone and the like aggressor is the main character, I guess. And it's like that's not always a problem, you know, like I don't care, or like I don't hold it against Darth Vader, you know, like his redemption arc is like fine. I don't care that we didn't focus on Darth Vader's victims. He was a Dark Lord and that's like not the point or whatever. But it's cool in like, or it's kind of cool. It's kind of mishandled in Jason Bourne, but that's like one of the things they try to tackle in that is that like, I cannot believe I'm talking about Jason Bourne on this podcast right now, dude. But like, he's like killed someone's parents or something. And it's like one of his main like goals in life is to like, find this kid that he traumatized or whatever and talk to them about it. And it's like, that's fine. That's great and all, but like, I don't understand like why. I don't like focusing on like a bad person's redemption arc all the time, I guess is my conclusion there. Like I would rather talk about someone overcoming adversity against like the bad person. Like it's not always I don't even know what I'm saying here, dude. I don't like focusing on the aggressor.
Okay. I mean,
is my point.
Right. I think that a redemption arc does work better when it's not our main character and it's not our main character's main focus. Like, I think there is room for a protagonist we already really like to make a mistake or to make a bad decision and need to make amends for that. And maybe that's hard and maybe the other person doesn't accept that. But I think really focusing on it, like, in your example, I haven't seen this, but in your example, it sounds like the kid is not seeking him out. The kid has not asked for him to be concerned with them or for him to make amends. He's just like, I know I did something wrong, and now it is my goal to go insert myself into that person's life again. And that doesn't sound enjoyable to me.
Yeah. Trying to think of more relevant examples, but
yeah. Do you have one that I might have seen?
I'm trying to think. Like my favorite redemption arc right now is Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones, but I don't think you haven't seen that show or read those books, have you?
No, I've watched the show. It's been a while, but I did. I did. I did not thoroughly enjoy myself, but I did watch it.
Thoroughly enjoys themselves watching that show, but you know.
I think some people do. Up until the last season or two, I think some people enjoyed themselves a little too much while watching that show.
Yeah, exactly. I like Jaime because it's like he definitely was a bad person, but he was. Okay. He pushed the kid out of that window. And that kid is a main character, but he's got amnesia. So you know, he can't remember that that it was Jaime that did that to him. But we are following him and dealing with his like his problem. It's not his trauma. He got, you know, crippled or whatever. So it's like he's got a real problem. But then it's like Jaime it's not that he's like super sorry that he pushed a kid out the window. It's more like he's just tired of being like he's more interested in being a good person since he met Brienne, and I really like that. I really like the
right. He's not really concerned with any single bad action that he took, because when he was taking them, none of them felt significant. But as he reformed, taking new bad actions was much harder.
Exactly, which is cool. Like I don't mind blazing forward, and like he does. It's not that he doesn't owe anybody anything, because he probably does owe a couple people some apologies, but that's beside the point. The point is, it's a redemption arc where he's trying to do the right thing moving forward, which is cool. And I like that.
Yeah, I like that. And I think had any of his victims come forward and wanted him to make amends, that it would be something that he would work towards. Yeah. But it's not his own focus to try and undo the past.
There's one instance of that in the books, and I think it's completely not in the show. Geez, there's a version of it in the show, and I can't remember what he tells Tyrion. He lies to Tyrion in the book about something really, really grotesque, and he, whenever he's busting Tyrion out of after Tyrion's trial goes bad and his dad's gonna sentence him to whatever, Jaime Lannister, he breaks him out of the dungeon, and that's when Tyrion kills his dad and goes over to he goes over and he's trying to find Dany or whatever. In the books, one of the reasons he did that was to apologize to him for something he did to him in the past, which is interesting. And I can't remember. I feel like they left on bad terms in the show too, but I don't remember what exactly happened. But
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
You don't have to. I just know that there's one person that he wanted to apologize to, and that was his brother. And then other than that, I mean, Jaime Lannister wasn't that bad of a dude, he did, he is with his sister, which, morally is not exactly the best thing in the world, but, he wasn't just murdering people left and right, though, Anyway.
Yeah, and I think that a redemption arc that focuses on current behavior and trying to improve now, rather than focusing on undoing what you did in the past, is more truly redeeming, because trying to undo the past it is about you. It is not about the damage that you caused. It's about your guilt for causing that damage. And I think recognizing that you can't change what has happened and making amends as you can in your current situation is much more, it is more of a true character turn than, again, selfishly going, well, I don't like that I did that, so I'm going to go try and fix it.
Nice. Yeah, I like that you put it that way. I'm really having a tough time articulating anything right now, but yeah, I like what you mean there. It reminds me, there's another movie you probably haven't seen called Promising Young Woman.
Yep.
Shit. There's a
I'm sorry.
There's a prosecutor who is a side character, and he or maybe a defense attorney. I think he was a defense attorney, and he I don't know, he defended some frat boys and in assault allegations, and he did that a lot. And the main character of the story comes to him accusing him of these wrongdoings or whatever, and he's his response to the accusations are yeah, I can't sleep, and my life is ruined, and I can't I can hardly function these days. I stopped doing that a long time ago. He doesn't have a job. He's on permanent leave for mental health problems and stuff like that, and he regrets what he did, and he's telling that to the main character. and the main character says that's fine, you know, that's fine, whatever. Long story short, the main character gives him like an opportunity in the future to do something like to help her out, I guess, and he does it. Like he helps her in the future. It's like he's regretful about the past, and he like takes like meaningful actions moving forward to like undo some of the stuff he did. I don't know. And that makes me like that character a little bit more, thinking about it that way, where like it's not just like there's a certain aspect, like you're saying, of redemption stories that have to kind of be selfish, and then like what makes them good is whenever they become selfless in a way. They're, like, you know, more external.
Yeah, I think when a story allows like a victim to dictate how they want amends to be made, that is a better opportunity for real redemption than when the aggressor decides how to fix it and goes about doing it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I like that. I don't know if this is a trope, you know, but I definitely like talking about those.
Well, redemption arcs are a trope. Yeah. And I think there are several approaches to the trope. So we're on target.
Yeah, dude. Redemption stories are definitely, they're hit and miss, dude. I think that you've really cracked the case for me, though. I think that's kind of it. It's like I hate selfish redemption stories, or just like broody. Not even necessarily selfish, but like there is a lot of that in action movies, which I know you don't like a lot, and I theoretically shouldn't like a lot, but I do watch a lot of like of these stupid action movies where it's just, you know, Jason Bourne types, you know, Jason Bourne wannabes that go out and do their thing, and it's just like they're always so dramatic. You know,
sure. Well, a lot, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of action movies are power fantasies in different ways. And so if you give all of the agency to the protagonist, right, even if it's like, oh, I don't like the things I've done, I'm going to go fix them, rather than giving them to someone else, it still keeps all of the power with that character. And I think when we're talking about someone having been wronged and needing it to be fixed, the person who exerted their power to hurt you in the first place shouldn't be the one with all the power in fixing it.
So that is absolutely the way it should be. Or the way that makes the best story. You know, that's the better version of the trope.
Right. But I don't think your average action movie, you know, going audience cares about the actual redemption. They want to see, you know, the blood opera. Yeah. They want to see the fights and the explosions. They want to see the dude that
can go out there, the powerful dude that can go out there and kill all the bad guys. And then like they don't want him to just be squeaky clean, goody two shoes. They want him to be like to have like, you know, be more relatable, but then also he can't be too bad. So he's got to regret, you know, being, you know, that's what it all is.
He needs to behave badly, but for the right reasons.
That's great. That's great, dude. Sometimes I really like action movies, and sometimes I really hate them. But they're dumb, dude. Wonderful. I guess other than tropes, I really like certain genres as well. Like I know a trope that I was talking about is like the you know, science in a medieval fantasy thing is fun, but like I like certain genres too, and I think tropes are a really important thing to like establish genre. You have the magic sword in the medieval fantasy one.
Yeah, it would be weird to have that in like a rom-com.
Exactly. Tropes help establish the genre. One of the genres I was just reminded of is like apocalypse movies. I heckin' love apocalypse movies.
I heckin' hate apocalypses.
I really love them.
Please elaborate. What makes them good?
What makes them good? I guess what makes them good is I like I like imagining the way people would behave if there were no rules. And it's funny because everyone has like kind of a different take on this, because it's like people would be like murdering each other in the street or whatever. And then there's also people whose take is more like, well, really, you know, like, imagine The Purge. That's a pretty funny movie. It's like, what if all crime were legal? Would anyone, like, obviously there might be a little bit of chaos if that just like happened one day. But my argument is people aren't that bad most of the time. Like, not everyone actually just secretly wants to go on murder sprees. And I like more tame apocalypse situations. There's a HBO series that came out recently called Station 11. I really like that series. That was like it followed an acting troupe that went from like city to city in after the apocalypse, and you know, things were a little more, you know, violent and out of hand than in real life, I guess. But like, it was mostly about these like this acting troupe and their friendships with people, like, and it's like that. Of course, life after the apocalypse would probably really be more like life today than we think, and I like that. I like that aspect of apocalypse movies, like when people are just like being normal after the apocalypse, is probably like why I like apocalypse movies.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of the thing I hate about apocalypse movies is that in a real apocalypse scenario, desperate people will do desperate things. Bad people will do bad things. But like within the first probably year of the disaster, those people get sorted out. And then it would just be like everybody's just doing their best and honestly helping each other as much as they can, because that's what human nature is. That's what like really every psychological experiment that we have that's not been tainted says. Like, people will point to the Stanford prison experiment, but that experiment was not clean or like objective at all. There was a lot of meddling behind the scenes. Shocking. Yeah. Those people were like, the people who were bad actors were encouraged to act badly because they wanted it to say, when given power, people will abuse it. That's not what was naturally happening. What was naturally happening was that everybody was being pretty cool and chill. It was when an authority figure gave them permission and instruction to not be cool and chill that things got out of hand. And yes, that will happen. But I think in every scenario that we have seen in the science, people just want to help each other and get through things as well as they can. And that's what it would be. So most of the time an apocalypse movie is not that. And it just irks me. And I don't like zombies. And that's always a thing.
Zombies are the worst version.
They're gross.
I don't like zombies either.
And I don't like the stakes are super high. And I feel like that's also often a thing in these apocalypse movies.
Absolutely. But so I agree.
Yeah,
you know, the stakes are always pretty high because everything gets turned instantly into life or death because, you know, because the government's gone. So our Lord and Savior, the government. I think you're right. I think it's interesting to think the like, as soon as something super bad happens, that's when the bad people come out and be bad and stuff like that. But I think you're right in that like 1 year after the fact, for every person out there who thinks that like if the government disappeared tomorrow, I would go out and like I'm gonna go do something bad, commit murder on the person I don't like. Like, for every person that's like that, there are just as many like suburban dads who are just like waiting for the opportunity to like be the good guy and like like they want to, you know, I don't know, action heroes are, you know, popular because people want to be those, you know, so it's like, I don't know, like that's, I don't know, there's just as many people that want to do good, I guess. And I'd say, obviously, once the government is gone, the first thing that's really going to happen is we're going to just make another one. Like, we're going to get a group of people together and we're going to all decide, you know, like, okay, well, the first thing that we're not allowed to do is murder. If you murder, then, you know, the group of people is going to punish you. It's like, that's right. We're talking about, you know,
like, civilization has existed for so long because we're wired for it, and we would just continue to be wired for it. There would just be a period of chaos before we sorted it out.
Yeah. Which would be terrible, of course. It wouldn't be good.
Which would be terrible, but these things are never set in the period of chaos. They're set in like, oh, the world ended 10 years ago and here's how bad it got. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
I don't know.
Sometimes they're set in the moments, or like, you know, that'll be like the beginning of it. You know, that'll be the beginning of The Walking Dead. You know, is you know, weeks after the tragedy or whatever, or like I don't know, World War Z has Brad Pitt in it. Love Brad Pitt. That happened. You know, that's like a as it's happening thing. That has zombies in it though. You probably wouldn't like it.
Nope, I don't like body horror, and therefore I do not like zombies.
My absolute favorite apocalypse movie is These Final Hours. I'm trying to get Cole to watch it. I don't know if I could get you to watch it. It's about...
If it's for content.
If it's for content. Yeah, maybe. It's about...
I'll do it for the content.
That hits the Earth. Sorry. A meteor hits the Earth. It's an Australian indie movie. These Final Hours. I want to sing its praises any chance I get, really. And it's about this like asshole dude who's like a meteor hits the other side of the world, like America gets destroyed or something, and there's like this shockwave that's going to take a couple hours to get to Australia. And so it's like the world's over, everyone's going to die. That's absolutely what's happening. Like currently right now, you know, while the character is moving around in the world, there's a thing destroying the planet. And there's all these people doing crazy stuff all over the place. You know, people throwing parties, people committing crimes. It's terrible. And this guy is like, the main character like has a pregnant wife or something. And he's just like, I want to go to one of those parties. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. And he's like, okay, fine. I didn't care about you that much anyway, and just goes. And it's like this crazy, you know, like he's super not a good guy. But like along the way, he just like, he teams up with this little girl that he saves from, you know, some bad people. And it's just funny to see, I don't know, like when the cards are down, how people behave, I guess. Like when the cards are on the table, I like it. I really like it. He's trying to get this girl like back to her family or whatever. And her family's like, you know, she's being obnoxious. I don't know. It's just, it's funny. Not super helpful. They're cool though. I really like their dynamic. I really like the story. And I know I was just talking about like not wanting to like focus on like the bad people that much, but like he was bad, but he's not that bad, I guess. You know, like you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's funny. I like apocalypse movies.
Yeah, I mean, it also sounds like if it's a redemption arc, it's an incidental one, because that's not what he's after.
Yeah. It's like he's bad, he's not that bad, and he's good, not that good. Like he's good enough to go, like if he sees something happening, he can't like not do anything about it. Like, you know, it's a weird topic, I guess, but like he sees this girl get like kidnapped or whatever, and he's like, Jesus, like I'm trying to go to this party, but I saw this happen. I can't like not do anything. It's like like, you know, no one else is gonna do anything about it.
Selfish.
I'm here.
but not
he's
heartless.
not heartless. So he's like, fine, I guess I have to be the one to do, try to do something about this. And he gets her and he's like, okay, well, now I've got this little girl separated from her family. And she's like, yeah, my family's, elsewhere. Can you take me to them? And he's like, you can't like call the police and have them take, so it's like, I don't know. It's fun. I like it. And again, it's kind of like what I like about apocalypse movies is whenever people make the right decisions in apocalypse movies makes my heart feel good, I guess.
Sure. When nothing matters, but people still choose to do the right thing. It's nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Zombies don't do it for you. That's I get it.
No.
Sometimes I like World War Z, but it might just have something to do with Brad Pitt, though. And I've watched 100 just bad indie apocalypse movies, but I like them. Medieval fantasy is probably my favorite genre for for just like anything. I love medieval fantasy. Lord of the Rings is like my favorite thing ever. But I will say I think that like sci-fi just has like more to it, I guess. Like I think that my favorite stories are medieval fantasy, but like I think the most good stories come from like sci-fi, in my opinion.
Sci-fi is like one of it is easily among my favorite genres. There's still a ton of shit in sci-fi that I don't care for, but I think it is the most fun. I think most times it is the most contemplative. When sci-fi is done well, it subverts and it asks you to like think really hard about something. And I think a lot of media in other genres, it has something to say, but it's most often not like asking you to draw your own conclusions. A lot of times it is like, here's the thing I have to say, the hero should be courageous, or this thing is bad and we should stop it. But I think a lot of times sci-fi is just like, well, here's sort of the logical conclusion to something you're already doing. Do you want to get there? Mm-hmm.
I think that I agree with you, and I think that one of the things that happens with sci-fi is that it accidentally does that a lot, where like I don't think that like sci-fi writers are, it's not like they're smarter than any other like fiction writer. It's that their ideas naturally and kind of accidentally lead to this sort of thing where like even if they weren't trying to be subtle about something or like subtly trying to imply something, it can come across that way because ideas from like the sci-fi universe, like what would happen if these things happened, like that does force you to think about what would happen if these things happened. And it's like I feel like you're right. Or the reason it makes you, they give you a lot to think about, and that makes it seem like they're always a lot more like have a lot more to say or something, because it just
right. I don't necessarily think sci-fi writers are better writers.
Absolutely not. Of course, I'm just saying, like ideas wise, it's like almost it's like a perk of the genre is like you can read a sci-fi thing and come to a completely different conclusion than what the author was even trying to give to you. And, it's still a really interesting topic.
Right. Like, Bradbury insists that Fahrenheit 451 is not about propaganda at all. But clearly, it is. And I think anytime that you're projecting into the future, naturally, it becomes about the things that are currently happening. Like whatever you think is going to become emphasized in the future says something about the world that you currently live in, even if you don't mean for it to. And I think that's really lovely, where other stories, like specifically medieval stuff, which projects back into the past, it shows a different part of your thought process. It shows more about like, what are you nostalgic for? What do you wish was more present in the present? What do you miss? Is it chivalry? Is it honor? Is it blood? You know, and I think projecting into the future, what do you think will get lost and what do you think will get emphasized? They're just different exercises, I think. And I often find the sci-fi exercise leaves more to me to think about, even if it's not the intention, like you said, where when we project into the past, so much of the stuff that's happening around whatever the author is going for or the writer is going for is just familiar in a way that doesn't challenge you.
Right. I see what you're saying. I think I agree. It's funny because a lot of the things that happen, like I love that like medieval fantasy like writing stuff is like it's almost always complete. Not even just medieval fantasy, like medieval movies and books and stuff are almost always as fictitious as like sci-fi stuff. Like writers have no idea definitely what was going on in the in the Middle Ages. Like the technologies are always anachronistic. They always get the like feudal system wrong. They always get like how societal norms and stuff are just wrong. So it's like they really just don't have a clue. It's funny because we all have a collective like idea of like what it was like in the Middle Ages or whatever, which is fine and fun, but it's completely like you know, it's what these movie directors think it was like, you know.
Right. It's a familiar fiction,
which is funny.
It's a shared universe in a way where sci-fi, it's almost criminal as a sci-fi writer to make a familiar universe. You're supposed to make it a different version, right? Every time.
Yeah. To prove you have good ideas or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Right. But the ideas you think are good are not the ones I'm going to think are good, probably.
No, probably not.
It'll be the throwaway ideas that are just like in the background.
Are there like what other genres are there that you like and dislike? What's the do you like rom-coms?
Yeah, sometimes. I think rom-com is maybe the tropiest genre that exists. And I think sometimes that's really enjoyable. I don't know. I think the best rom-coms are the ones that turn tropes on their head or comment on the tropes. So they lean more into the comedy than the romance more often. But I think what I like most about rom-coms is that the stakes are so low. There is never, I'm not familiar with a high stakes rom-com because at a certain point it just becomes an action movie with a romance plot, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So like if the highest the stakes get are like you might ruin someone's wedding, I'm really comfortable in that zone. I really like the stakes to be super low because then the stories are about the characters and the people and their interactions. And do a lot of rom-coms do that well? Absolutely not. But the ones who do it well are really enjoyable.
Nice. The only rom-coms I can really think of right now are Hitch, which I don't think was very good, and then Crazy Rich Asians.
No, it wasn't. I love Crazy Rich
Which
Asians.
I think was pretty fun. I like that one. But
it was fun. And it was about, more than the romance, which I like. I just feel like in Western media, at least, the closest thing that we get to a slice of life is packaged in like a comedy or in a rom-com. And slice of life is the thing that I enjoy.
Yeah. Do you like murder mysteries type stuff?
Sometimes. I like murder mysteries that are comedies and not dramas.
See. Okay. I love drama murder mystery stuff. True Detective on HBO is like one of my favorite things. I love it. I think it's great.
I like a whodunit, but I like Clue.
I see. Yeah.
And that's it's not just because Tim Curry is in it, but it's not because Tim Curry is in it.
Thinking of the Knives Out. Did you watch that?
I didn't. Knives Out is one that I do really want to watch. I just haven't. I haven't gotten to it.
Seems like it's closer to Clue than True Detective. So that's funny. What other genres even are there? I don't even know. I guess there's like political stuff, like
there's
House
political stuff. I'm not gonna engage in any political stuff.
Okay.
There's just like straight up comedies, which in the year of our Lord 2024, or I'm sorry, in the year of some people's Lord 2024, just there aren't very many good straight up comedies.
Sure. Yeah.
Coming out, in my opinion.
I've never been a giant comedy fan, I guess. I kind of hate fun in general, and that's just kind of
famously.
And that's just kind of I like certain comedies, I don't mind. I like watching whatever, like with my friends or whatever. If you guys sit me down to watch Ted Lasso, that's fine. But it's not my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, some of them are good, but I prefer the comedies that are, slice of lifey. I, as a true millennial, really enjoyed The Office.
Okay. Yeah, I like The Office.
I'm not even a millennial. I shouldn't say that.
Are you not? What are you talking about?
No, I'm a cusper. I think I'm technically Gen Z.
Huh.
My husband is not Gen Z because he's like some months older than me, but I am technically Gen Z by like a few days.
Yeah, well, I claim you as a millennial, so it's fine. Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't think you'd fit in with the Zoomers.
I do part my hair to the side, so. Well, in my defense, it's because I have a cowlick, like a bad cowlick, which is why I part my hair there so that it doesn't look like a bad cowlick.
I like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's comedy I like.
I love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Do you? I feel like I haven't talked to you about this. That's crazy.
Yes, I love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The movie, I love the book. I have loved the book first, because I love, like, Kurt Vonnegut is my favorite author, which is, it's sci-fi. Some of his stuff is sci-fi, I should say. I don't know that he's totally a sci-fi author. His stuff is like really grounded sci-fi. So there's like, I don't know. It's great. I enjoy it. But Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy feels adjacent. And I do love it. It is one of my favorites.
Yeah. I love it. I've only seen the movie, the Martin Freeman movie. But.
Well, actually, the Martin Freeman movie is really good. I think it captures a lot of the spirit. If it's not, I mean, it's not a totally faithful recreation, but I think it definitely has the spirit of the book.
Yeah. I think faithful recreations are overrated. I
agree.
Think the discourse around some of the things that are my favorite thing in the world has like ruined my perception of these things, dude. Like I will never get over the Lord of the Rings movie, or not movie, the Lord of the Rings TV series coming out, like ruined my respect for the source material. Like I can't take anyone who says like it's not being respectful to the source material. Like I like is losing points with me. Like I just can't like it has there are arguments for it, but I think that like the best thing in the world is to be faithful to the, like what you're saying, to the spirit of the source material. That's one thing. I care about that. Mm-hmm. If they change something like minor details, like I don't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
I've
but
lost
like,
my mind.
If you make a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie and it's not really a comedy and none of the jokes are tongue in cheek or like language based or, you know, like there's a joke in the book and I think it makes it into the movie that like every species ends up creating a drink called the gin and tonic.
Okay. I don't remember that from the movie, but
I don't know. They're just like, it has the spirit. It tells the story with the same kind of voice that the book tells the story with. And I think that's really important. If you're going to take, you know, they famously made like a club remix of the Hanging Tree song from Hunger Games, which is absolutely and completely misunderstanding the Hunger Games and like saying exactly the opposite thing that says.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's upsetting.
I hate that. I hate it whenever things end up saying exactly the opposite of what the original is saying, dude. That's my biggest gripe with the Game of Thrones TV series.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think people flip out if your character has the wrong hair color or eye color or whatever, and like, who cares? Or a plot point is changed because it works better on screen if it's different. I don't care, but yeah, you need to have the spirit of the thing. Yeah,
the spirit of the thing is the most important, and I think Lord of the Rings is what taught us that, dude. Or taught some of us millennial nerds that the Lord of the Rings movies are incredible, and we all love them. And they are not like the books pretty much at all. Like there's so many changes. They're like that was the wrong thing to say. They are like the books, but tons of the plot is very different. Mm-hmm. So it's great. That's the best. It's the best thing to do. Especially changing mediums, like from a book to anything, but like from a book to a movie or a TV series, especially.
Right. Sometimes there are changes that really need to be made.
Yeah. And that's something that like a good movie person can do. And that's like part of the fun of bringing a book to life on screen is making the changes that help a lot there. Mm-hmm. And that's just it. Like I love changes from the books that are good. If you change something from the book and it's bad, then obviously it was that's it. It was bad. It was a bad idea. You shouldn't have done it.
Right.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, and I get it's a balancing act. Like books have the advantage of you having an imagination that is not limited by a budget or physics or reality, but a movie doesn't have that advantage. So sometimes things need to be presented in a way that is cinematically appropriate, and that might mean changing plot points to something that will work better on screen. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I agree. I love changing stuff from books, dude. Like that's just all of a sudden that has become my. I don't know. I think it's good. It's a good thing to do. Mm-hmm. But when they do it poorly, obviously things don't work out that well.
That's true.
I'm a big Witcher fan, and I liked the first season of The Witcher on Netflix. I almost said HBO, but and they changed a ton. They changed a ton from the books, and I think that they had a pretty good trajectory. And then now a lot of stuff is just not going so well for them, and they've kind of ruined a lot of stuff. And I obviously a lot went wrong there. and it's not a very good story. That's just how it is. And it's not because they changed stuff from the books. It's because they changed stuff from the books and it was bad. Like that's the problem.
Right. Giving your adaptation some adaptation is good, but with anything, right? If your solution is a poor solution, no one's going to like it. Even if there was no source material, if you told the same story, people wouldn't like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. I think it's probably time to move in for the now that we've gotten all this not Genshin stuff out of the way. We might as well move on to the ship of the week.
Ship of the week. We need a little song. We need to get some little music bits together.
Oh jeez. I want to talk about Kuki and Yanfei this week. This is my suggestion.
Okay. What's your Kuki Yanfei thesis statement?
Well, my thesis statement is, of course they went to school together. Yanfei was Kuki's teacher, which, might sound problematic, but they're both adults years after school at this point, right? So I think that's fine. I think it's appropriate. And my thesis statement is they're both strong, independent, intelligent women who like each other. That's my my evidence. There's not much. They talk a bit. They do like each other, but there's not a whole lot of interaction. Neither of them get a ton of screen time. I would say Yanfei definitely gets a fair amount of screen time in the Liyue lawyer arc. I don't know. We have to go around with her collecting statements and stuff like that. It's like after Rex's assassination or something. I can't remember exactly.
I don't remember. I remember going around with her and doing some contract law.
We did a lot of law with Yanfei for a long time, but aren't Kuki and Yanfei together in that chasm quest where you're trapped underground? It's like Kuki and Ito and Yelan and Yanfei. Is Yanfei down there with them? I can't remember.
I thought
that might
she
be what
was.
I'm thinking about. There's definitely a section of Archon quests where they end up together because they do kind of talk a fair amount. I think that you're probably right. She probably is down there in the chasm with us. I can't remember if Yanfei actually makes it down into the chasm with us, and it's kind of hard because there's not a lot of voice acting in the chasm, so I don't.
No, I'm gonna commit a sin and Google it.
Oh, geez. I can't believe you've done this.
Genshin chasm.
She might be. She's at least, maybe she's in Kuki's memories or something like.
No. It's Yanfei and Ito and Shinobu, and then.
Okay.
Is Yelan there? Did I make up the part about Yelan?
So. No, Yelan, she's down there.
Yeah, okay. Yanfei and Kuki are definitely down here together with Ito.
So that's when they talked about their past. Their highly charged past where they just kind of respect each other.
Yeah. Kuki would be Shrine Maiden Shinobu. Mm-hmm. Went to law school, after.
That's right, dude. She went to law school where Yanfei was
a young hot teacher, we'll say.
A young hot teacher. Mm-hmm. That's how it goes, dude. And now we're past it. This does dig into a problem where Kuki is an absolute catch that like anyone would be happy to have, and it's like she does have a lot of shipping opportunities with like Ito.
Right.
And others. There's like another one that I'm not thinking of right now, but she shows up, dude. She has got chemistry, and she's super hot. So it's like everyone wants to.
She is just great. everybody wants a Kuki, but my only argument against Kuki Yanfei is that Kuki Ito is, I think, the only hetero ship in Genshin that I really like.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, it is a great ship. I like Kuki Ito as well. And I guess they can kind of guest star here, because that's a wonderful ship. They are great together. And they've got a lot more, they spend a lot more time. There's a lot more evidence for Ito Kuki. But she shows up to babysit him all the time. But,
yeah, all the time.
Are there situations where... But what? You could
I'm sorry. but babysit him like a doting partner does.
Yes, of course.
I just need to specify.
You needed to specify a little bit there.
Yeah, they do. They sometimes have interactions where it is like she is frustrated with her son who does not obey her commands. But there are also times when it's like clearly a sweet partnership where one person really has a skill set in an area and the other person is trying their best but is causing a lot of trouble.
Yep, and that's Ito. He's trying his best, and he is always causing a lot of trouble.
Yeah. It's like when a pretty high power lawyer brings their partner who's not in law to a party, and that person just doesn't know how to interact.
It's almost like that. Yeah.
It is almost like that.
Which is why she would be better off with a partner who is in law.
I'm not arguing with you that they would be better together, but I love Kuki Ito. I just do. The heart wants what the heart wants.
I'm with you. I get that.
They've got this whole like chosen family together. Ugh, it's just cute.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot there.
Listen, Yanfei can be the one that got away, and Yelan and Yanfei can get together. I feel like that they've got some chemistry in that quest.
Sure, yeah. Yanfei could get with Yelan. I don't mind this. Now, then we run into...
I mean, not me because of the antlers, but she can pull.
I think we run into the same problem there where I like Yelan with some other people like Shidha a little bit more, but I don't know. Maybe I say that there might, like, on an emotional level, it might just be better for Yanfei to be with Yelan. I think that they're probably a more equal match.
They're a more equal match. Dark horse candidate Yanfei and Rex Lapis might really hit it off as lovers of contracts. And I think Yanfei would be a really good stepmom for Hu Tao.
Jeez. That's an interesting dynamic we just uncovered. And Yanfei's like she's like half I want to call them acolytes. What's the
Adeptus?
Adepti, yeah. She's half Adepti, so she might like live a long time. So Rex might, not, like I don't think he's interested in relationships with like humans that are, gonna be dying soon.
Yeah, a little too short of lifespans.
Yeah,
but yeah, we don't know what kind of lifespan Yanfei has, but I think she's got a better shot than most anyone else. I mean, except maybe Auntie Yoon and Rex, but I don't get I get the vibe that Auntie Yoon is not all that into Rex.
I also get that vibe. And it's funny because we totally have Zhao, who looks like the son of Auntie Yoon and Rex.
Maybe they're exes.
They might be exes, and that might be the
actually,
vibe.
honestly, the vibe kind of is exes at their kid's wedding, just trying to be cordial.
It's just that the only thing that makes that not hold water is that I think Auntie Yoon would talk so much shit about her ex. Like, if she was not with Rex anymore, I think we would know about it, because I think she would want us to know that, like, especially if he was the one that fucked up.
I don't know.
But, I don't know.
I feel like so? she's so proper that probably it would be just kind of like, that was so long ago, and of course it would be proper for her to be with an Archon. She deserves nothing less. So of course they were together. It just didn't work out. He's too boring, or she's too invested in her other children, and he favors Zhao too much, or
maybe, yeah, I don't know. I guess Ganyu is half Adeptus, and she's as old as all the other Adepti.
Yeah, she's like old.
So that might be an indication that Yanfei lives long, but of course, she's half Adeptus, on a different side potentially. So, like, who knows? It might matter which Adeptus you're half of, So I don't know. I don't know how these genetics work.
Yeah, unclear. Like, she has goat horns.
Right.
So, I mean, could be like a demon Adeptus. I feel like goat horns are kind of demon coded, and deer horns.
Yeah, they're like red and black and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know about, I mean, sometimes in mystical lore, there are like immortal deer spirits, but.
Right. Yeah. All that Norwegian shit. The Norwegians don't have they don't have a monopoly on deer spirits, but
but every deer spirit I know is evil, and that's not colored by my totally rational fear of deer.
I mean, deer they're whack, dude. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like am I off my rocker? Is Yanfei is like young right now, right? Like, she's not as old as like Ganyu or whatever. She's like she's a baby, right?
I got no idea.
I see. Okay. I think I'm just basing this off of her relationship with Madame Ping. Seems like it's new, like she's with Ping in a new way, where she hasn't been hanging out with Ping for the last 6,000 years like Ganyu.
Yeah, I think Ping is new to taking on babies, though. Like, I don't think she did that before.
It's like who are Ping's babies? It's Yao Yao, Yanfei,
Yao, Zhengling, and Yanfei, to my knowledge. Okay. So it's like a couple of humans and one Yanfei.
Right.
But I think she's only been having students since she became old lady Madame Ping instead of Adeptus form Madame Ping.
Right.
Whatever
back when she was hot.
I don't remember her Adeptus name.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know. I wonder if we're gonna get her Adeptus form as a playable character. I think
I would want that. I think she's super pretty.
Yeah. She is super pretty. And I mean, Cloud Retainer went well, as far as I know. Like, I think that she's a moneymaker.
Yeah, I think she is. So. Although I would also really take Madame Ping current model.
Just an old lady?
Just an old lady. Yeah, that would be great, honestly.
That would be pretty funny.
I don't think it would be a moneymaker, but I would do it.
It would definitely not be a moneymaker.
Nobody would want Grandma Ping on their team, just like kicking ass, and then like in her idol, just like sipping a little tea, like knitting. I don't know.
She might. I mean, Ping might be like one of the most powerful people we know, dude. I mean, like, she controls like space-time continuums, dude. Yeah. Like, she gives us like the teapot and stuff. Like, she's kind of nuts with her powers out here. So I don't know.
She's strong as hell.
might just have a grandma out there just,
kick-ass grandma. I would love it. I don't know.
I mean, nuts. Which is what she'll be called either way. But like, if she comes out and she is the young hot model, then like people are still gonna call her grandma, like Farzan.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Madam Ping and Farzan would get along really well, I think.
Yeah, probably. It would be funny. It'd be really funny to humble Farzan like that. Like Madam Ping's like calling Farzan a child, and Farzan's like I don't know, trying to
I think
deny it.
Farzan would call Madam Ping Madam and not ask Madam Ping to call her Madam. Although she asks everyone else. I think that there would be some really fun, even if Madam Ping gets a young form, there could be some really fun banter between those two about kids these days.
Absolutely.
Madam Ping and Farzan and Ganyu just like ragging on humans these days.
It would be pretty funny. I don't think Ganyu has very many gripes with the kids these days. But I don't know. Maybe she does.
It would be an interesting character development if she did.
Yeah, if she had a personality of some sort, that'd be crazy. That'd be... Respectfully, I like Ganyu. I like Ganyu. I like her. Stop.
He's just trying to protect himself. You can come at me. I don't care for Ganyu.
Really what it is like I'm a big cryo simp. I love all the cryo characters, and I just really wish that Ganyu fit in better with the rest of the cryo characters, having personalities. But hey,
Yeah, I'll say it because I'm not a cryo simp. Ganyu isn't a character, and I just wish she was.
Yeah. I can't argue too much with you, I think my argument for Ganyu is she is a cool character. They don't do anything with her though. It's like she's got this crazy backstory, kind of like Shinha. Like she's got these cool aspects to her character and characteristics that they never do anything with. It's like instead of talking about how she feels about being a half Adeptus, we have to talk about how she's a tired, overworked waifu. Like it's like instead of talking about the interesting things about Ganyu, we talk about how overworked she is, just like everyone else. So it's like,
right. And instead of focusing on Shinha being cool, she is born sexy yesterday.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
She is really sexy though, so it's kind of hard to. Oops.
Whoops.
At least Shinha, I feel like Shinha. I can't dig her out of this hole, but at least she does have a bit of her own agency. She makes some decisions. Anyway, I feel like Yanfei should have been the main topic here, but we don't get a ton of Yanfei these days.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just have so little to say about Yanfei that even her ship of the week is not about her, which I think makes her a bad candidate for Kuki, about whom I have much to say.
I guess so. It's a real tragedy. I like Yanfei a lot. I think I like her more than I even think I do. I think she's higher on the list. I think she's kind of sneaky. I really like her. I think that she's got a fun personality. I think
she's fun. I wish our exposure to her wasn't limited to her lawyering mostly. Like, I would like more interaction with Yanfei outside of that. I don't think she even has a Hangout quest. I
don't think so. I guess she's not much of a moneymaker. Dang it, dude. Which I don't know how, dude. She's hot, but we got so many pyro DPSs.
Yeah, it's a crowded field, unfortunately. Pyro is a hard element to crack. I don't know what they're going to do in Natlan. I feel like they're going to have to revamp it somehow because people already got all the pyro characters.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just going to have to come out with some some off-fielders, I guess, which is going to be crazy because then you're competing. Sorry, you're competing with Zhang Ling and Bennett, so
right.
it's gonna be a problem.
Listen, I'll
and
take
Dia,
out off-fielders that actually compete with Zhang Ling and Bennett and Dia, of course.
The best character, but yeah. The best off-field damage dealer. Everyone knows she's the best off-field Pyro DPS. Anyway, continue. Sorry. It's not propaganda.
I would just like to see them, improve on the formula, because I have doubts given Arlecchino being, as far as the meta goes, kind of underwhelming for a Fatui Harbinger.
Camry.
I'm not sure where they're going.
I'm sorry you've exposed yourself here. You don't watch the Theory Crafters, do you?
No. Is there updates? Is she good now? I don't care.
Arlecchino definitely is one of the best characters in the game right now.
All right.
Sure.
Okay. Never mind. I take it back. That wasn't the sentiment upon release, but
people were a little confused.
I'm not really a meta baby, so
yeah. I can't believe it. You don't watch you don't spend all your time watching.
No,
the Theory
because the meta doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna pull for the characters that pull my heartstrings, and Arlecchino didn't do it for me. So, but I'm excited for Kimiko.
Yeah, same. I can't wait.
My heart's gonna be so broken if it's not actually Kimiko.
She'll be around. Like, she's gonna show up in this universe at some point. I just don't. We don't know when. It's probably gonna be Natlan, but I don't know.
I don't know. She needs to show up.
Well, I think that's all I needed to talk about this week.
Yep, I'm out of
we can sign out.
Thoughts.
Well, okay. Final thoughts. We gotta go through final thoughts. What's the?
My final thought for this week is, I'm out of thoughts. Watch the things that you like. Pull for the characters that you like. Have your own opinions and share them in the comments below so we know what they are.
My thoughts: Brad Pitt is an amazing actor, underrated. Apocalypse movies, underrated.
All right.
And that's probably a Yan Fei, underrated.
All right.
I think that's yeah.
He's championing some things today.
That's what it is.
All right.
I'm out of here. Peace out.
Okay. Good night, babies.
Good night, babies. I tried to get away with just saying peace out, and it didn't work.
Sweet dreams, guys. Really, sleep sweet tonight. If you made it this far, you deserve it.